Thank you for joining me for the reading of Chapter 9 of my book, Journey to Wholeness of Mind. The chapter title is Create the New. I start with the quote by Dan McCollum. Creativity is not a mood. Creativity is not a gift. It is the very nature of God inside of you. I've never really thought of myself as a creative person. Creative people are artistic, imaginative, and seem to have incredible focus to be able to work tirelessly on a project to see it to perfection. When I think of being in a Broadway show, my first thoughts are how fun, exciting, and glamorous that would be. Then I start thinking about all the hours spent rehearsing to create the perfect show, saying the same lines, making the same moves on the same stage over and over again each night. Suddenly, I don't feel the need to express creativity in that way. When you think of creativity, what do you think about? Do you think of musicians, artists, actors, designers? My dad and sister are definitely the creative type. My sister is amazing. She can draw, paint, create works of art with wood and pottery, which I take full advantage of. I just called her yesterday describing what I wanted her to make me for Christmas. My only creative expression is interior decorating, which was a learned art. Anything I have done that would be considered creative came from training, lots of practice, and a lot of frustration. Creativity does not come. The creative people I know create to relax. I only create out of need, and it is the furthest thing from relaxing. But that was my old view of creativity. My old view of creativity was limited to being artistic or not, and I was not. That changed one day when I listened to a message by pastor, prophet, author, musician, songwriter Dan McCollum. His many titles showcase the fact that he is a creative. His message was about the lie so many people believe that they are not creative. This definitely sparked my attention as a creative wannabe. The premise of the message was that if we were created in the image of God, the great creator, then we are creators. In other words, creativity is in our DNA. He told everyone who believed the lie that they were not creative to stand up. He led us in a prayer of repentance. Yes, I was standing, fully ready to repent and shake off that old limiting belief. I was ready to take on my new I am statement. I am creative because I was created in the image of the greatest creator ever. I can and will create. I create with my words. I create with my thoughts. My every action aligned with the kingdom of heaven carries creative ability. This was my new declaration. I learned that day that creativity goes beyond what is and it creates new realities. Since creativity is in my DNA, creating will bring a fulfillment that we cannot get from anything else. To be whole in mind, we have to be using our minds to create the new, the better, the life we were designed to live. I hope that if you did not already see yourself as a creator, that you are accepting your new identity. If you were created to create, then let's create, allowing our minds to be fully expressed. Just as I made the mind shift about what being creative looks like, accepting the truth that I am creative, you too will need to recognize your power to create the life you desire by maximizing the power of your mind. Everything starts in the mind. Everything you want starts with the thought. So that is where you need to start creating, learning to express the fullness of who you were created to be. With this in mind, take time to evaluate what you are giving your thoughts to. Are you giving your thoughts to things that will build and create the life you want? Are you giving your mind to things that create faith or fear? Are you giving your thoughts to the things that will help you create the life you want rather than staying on the same track you've been on? Are you giving your mind to the things that will create the emotions you want, dispelling all hopelessness, bitterness, and disappointment? You can create the emotions that will bring you into a better place. You can create through gratefulness, a higher emotion that becomes productive. These are all choices we make every day, whether we realize it or not. These are the choices that make all the difference in where we are a year from now. Will you be in the same place? Will you have regressed? Or will you be on your journey of living in wholeness of mind? It is up to you and only you. Here is how God puts it. I call heaven and earth as witnesses today against you, that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore, choose life, that both you and your descendants may live. That's in Deuteronomy 30:19. Because death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat of its fruit, as we're told in Proverbs 18:21. Wholeness comes as we gain the ability to express ourselves and pursue the things that are most important to us, creating the most meaning. God is saying to us, choose life. We do this by speaking, thinking, and doing according to how He created us to be. We can't keep thinking the same thoughts and talking the same talk and expect to create something different. We are thinking beings. We think all day long. As we think and as we choose, we cause genetic expression to happen in our brains. Thoughts are real physical things that occupy mental real estate. Dr. Carolyn Leaf has done massive research on our brains and how they work. She is a great one to follow on social media, and she has written several books that would be a great addition to your library. She teaches on our brain's ability to heal itself through thought, and how we heal, we will create. Knowledge is power if we use wisdom and apply it. Let's take our minds out of the mental boxes we have put them in and allow them to create new things, to expand and grow. If we don't, we will remain the same level of productivity or lack thereof. We need to change our thinking about creativity so that we can see our ability in a new way, a better way, an empowering way. We can take this new knowledge and use it to become more productive. As we gain new knowledge, we take that information and we repeat it until it rewires our minds. In doing this, we create the new patterns, new neural pathways, and new sequences of thought that will produce the life we want to create. The new thoughts will create new choices that will create new actions. This, in turn, will produce the changes we want. This will expand our lives and bring wholeness to our minds. Whatever voice is talking in our head is the one we are listening to, and it is directing our actions and outcomes. If the voice is slowing us down, detouring us, or keeping us from functioning from neural pathways that don't get us where we want to go, we have to do whatever it takes to silence it and empower the voice that will get us where we want to be. Make sure the voice in your head is speaking the language of wholeness. Make sure it is inspiring you to create, build, develop, and live a limitless life as a creator. For our world to change, we have to become greater than the current environment we are living in or functioning in. To create optimal results in life, we must put ourselves into the best possible mental, physical, and emotional state. The main way to do this is through a thought life that produces an energy that positively affects everything and everyone around us. Everything in this world holds a vibration or an energy. The energy you carry will create the atmosphere you live in. So charge your atmosphere with life-giving energy through your thought life. Partner with your Heavenly Father, the creator of all things, to create the life you want by taking on the mindset of Christ, which has no limits. Live out in your mind your desired reality as if it were already present. This will produce the energy and motivation necessary to bring it into your reality. You have unlimited power. As you learn to tap into it, you will be able to do the seemingly impossible, because all things are possible with an unlimited power of God working in and through you. Where we put our attention is where our energy goes. And we want our energy to be spent creating wholeness, new pathways, and increased fruit. We want our energy going to creating new possibilities. With time and repetition, we can create new neural pathways that will favor being calm, focused, peaceful, productive, and happy versus angry, reactive, frustrated, stressed, or restrictive. How do we do this? You may ask. We do this by continually aligning our thoughts with God and His thoughts, by staying sensitive to His leading. As we ask Him to lead us, we need to give attention to His promptings, nudges, and the things that He highlights to us. He wants to help us create the attitudes, mindsets, and actions that will produce wholeness of mind. When we start to say something negative about ourselves or someone else, and we feel that little nudge, we need to stop. We do not want to ignore that nudge, even if what we're about to say was true. Stop. Even if we've already started talking and don't want to feel stupid, stopping mid-sentence. Stop, even if nothing seems wrong with what you were going to say. Why? Because we are in training and we want to learn to be sensitive to the leading of the Lord on how to speak, what to say, and what not to say. Secondly, we want new thought pathways that are sensitive to the words we speak and not conforming to our old patterns. We are trying to create something new so we can no longer talk the way we have always talked. You can apply this when you feel God prompting you to go in a different direction. It may seem silly that He's leading you to do, but trust Him. We are working to create new neural pathways in our minds, so we may need to do things differently. It can also just be a training exercise. On this journey, we want to learn to pause, think, and inquire of the Lord when we feel that nudging, or as some may say, a check in our spirit or a red flag. We want to create the best mental playground for optimal production. The scriptures tell us to acknowledge Him in all of our ways, and He will direct our path. That's in Proverbs 3:6. One of the ways you create more is when you have a prompting or inspiring thought, take action. Start putting your thoughts and ideas into action before the old self tries to talk you out of it. Set up action steps to walk out what you are wanting to do or create before your old programming tries to talk you out of it. Take some form of action before your subconscious starts replaying your past mistakes, failures, or fears. Take action before you start worrying about what someone else will think about you or about what you're doing. Learn to override the old voices until you have programmed a new voice that says, you can do it. Great idea. Go for it. When you have a thought to call and encourage a friend, do it. Spend time with someone, make the appointment. Turn off the TV and read, respond. Get involved in something new, step out. Create something, create. Stop coming up with reasons why you shouldn't do something and instead brainstorm reasons why you should. If you are undecided, your mind is working to show you the reasons not to do it. Once you decide, your mind starts working to make it happen. Decide to move forward and figure it out as you go. If you do feel you have a legitimate reason not to follow an idea or thought, make sure that the reason is not based in fear. If your thought starts with last time, what if, or I'm not, it's probably based in fear. Don't listen to the non-productive thoughts. Don't listen for problems. Don't allow fear-based thoughts to ping pong around in your head. Replace them with positive, solution-based thoughts that create the outcome you want. I think fear of disappointment is one of the biggest inhibitors to creating. If we can learn to see that nothing is wasted with God, we can keep moving forward even when we feel we have blown it. He makes all things work together for good to those who love and follow Him. That's in Romans 8:28. We can hold to this truth even if it appears we have failed. We can keep trusting even when things don't turn out the way we thought or desired. It's okay. He is working. Just keep the end game in mind. Stay focused on where you are going and what you are wanting to create, not allowing disappointment to slow you down. Everything is part of the journey of learning, discovering, growing. If we maintain this outlook, we will have the courage to keep trying, keep stepping out, and keep exploring. We can find beauty in anything. Instead of allowing disappointment to hold you back, let's look for what we can learn and apply it to the next step. See what we discovered about ourselves during the experience that will help us in the next venture. In this process, we are building strength and resilience. I have had the privilege of leading many women's groups in my life. Some of them came to a timely close or were handed off to another qualified teacher with my blessing. I am sad to say a couple of them came to abrupt endings for reasons outside of my control. But no matter the ending, I would lead each one of them again without question. Sure, I was very disappointed about the ones that ended sadly. I had to work through sorrow and negative, hurt feelings. But what I can't allow is to view those groups as failures. I must choose to remember what God did in and through me, who God touched, and how his message was proclaimed. I seek him for wisdom in how to properly handle and respond to these unwanted, unwarranted, or unexpected situations. The alternative is to grow stagnant in my gift, which hampers my ability to keep creating new things. Look at your past ventures that did not turn out as expected. Give God permission to walk through the memories with you. View them from his vantage point and the perspective that nothing is wasted and all things work for good. Let him show you his truth about the process and outcome. Perhaps forgiveness is needed to take place for yourself or others. Perhaps pride or control needs to go so you don't carry it into the next venture. We need his wisdom in these situations because without him, past disappointments become roadblocks or caution signs that produce timidity and fear. What is your alternative to trusting the process and moving forward with your added lessons and newfound wisdom? The alternative is doing nothing and staying in the same place. Make a decision. Choose the positive route. I know for me, after an apparent failure, when asked to start or lead something new, the enemy will try to, quote, warn me to not go down that road again. He tries to tell us why we are not qualified, how we may get hurt again, how we are justified in not stepping out again. If we keep our thoughts in that mental playground, we will miss out on many exciting rides for fear of injury. I am grateful I now have the knowledge to pull myself out of any negative hamster wheel, justified or not, and begin to dream of touching lives again. I'm sure we all experience catty, destructive people in our lives, and we all know how hurtful betrayal from others can be. Bringing others into our lives after being hurt can bring on a whole other level of fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being out of control, fear of being hurt, betrayed, or disappointed again. Anytime fear tries to be our motivator or our protector, we must go back to God's word that he says has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. When we complain about problems, when we bury our head in the sand, when we give up when challenged, these become trained responses. And every time we respond that way, we reinforce those neural pathways, and it gets harder to handle disappointment in a productive manner. I do not want to hold back from creating something new because of a neural pathway formed by limited thinking or believing. I want my thoughts, choices, and actions to come from the place of power, love, and a sound mind. This is a place God designed me to function in. If I can come at every decision, goal, or plan from a place of power, walking in the knowledge of who I am as a child of God and operating in that authority, love, all actions and thoughts being rooted in love, being one with love, for God is love, sound mind, not wavering in belief and faith, being grounded in truth. I will be empowered to create big, juicy fruit no matter what has happened in the past. I will harvest my dreams if I live from this state of mind. Not only do we not want to fear to hold us back, but just as important, we don't want fear-based solutions to problems. Fear-based solutions don't come from a sound mind. If your thoughts run along the lines of, I better do this. I should do this. What if I don't do this? You are likely contemplating from a place of fear. Evaluate yourselves when you're making decisions or choices. Identify what frame of mind you are making them from. Take mental stock. Always pay attention to your thoughts to determine if they are working for you or against you. Are they helping you or hindering you? This will help you determine where you need to make mental shifts so that your creativity is no longer hampered. When I started doing this for myself, I discovered I was making a lot of my decisions from a lack-based mindset, which is ultimately rooted in fear. This was not a conscious thought at the time. My subconscious had been wrongly programmed due to negative circumstances that had transpired in my life. The underlying tone of my thoughts was, I don't have everything I need. I may not have enough. I may fall short. What if this doesn't work? I can't afford this. What if statements can be a sure sign of an underlying belief system that you may not be aware of. As you become intentional about your mental state with the Lord, will begin to fine tune your thoughts and beliefs, just as He did for me. This is another reason it is so key for us to pay attention to the nudgings and promptings of the Lord. The lack mentality is based in fear. My what if statements were a sign that I was starting from a place of lack. Once the Lord highlighted this wrong thought process, I had a choice to make, just as you will have as He begins to highlight faulty mindsets you are operating in. The choice for me was, do I take the necessary steps to change? Am I going to do the work to change, create new habits, and become disciplined in reprogramming my thought patterns and beliefs? Some of our belief systems and thought processes have roots that go down deep, and it can feel daunting to begin the process of uprooting these old patterns. I know it will take determination and fortitude to turn the tide, but it will be well worth it. I heard a counselor once refer to it as turning a whole train around. You may have a lot of momentum pushing you in the wrong direction, but it is up to the engineer, the mind of the train, to start the process of turning around. Eventually, one car at a time, you will turn the train and will come into alignment with the new direction. I had to change my self-talk, be deliberate about declaring truth, and be conscious when making choices that I did not allow thoughts of lack any place in my process. When a lack thought would present itself, I would follow 2 Corinthians 10:5 that says, bringing every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. I had to cast down the thought of lack that was trying to be exalted above the truth that my God supplies all my needs according to His riches and glory. Philippians 4:19. My new declaration was, my God will supply anything and everything I need to accomplish all that He has put in my heart to do and be. He has given me everything I need to be the person He created me to be. Therefore, I have absolutely no lack in any area of my life. My feelings and thoughts of lack were rooted in the, quote, facts of my past experiences before I knew how to properly walk through them. I had allowed negative circumstances to sow lies in my belief systems. I had allowed disappointments to plant seeds of fear and doubt. These seeds had grown in ways and places I had not detected until now. But now I had the tools to uproot and destroy anything that would try to hold me back. I'd allowed pain to teach me about lack instead of faith. That was then. Now I have exchanged lack for abundance. Now I see from God's perspective of plenty. When I look at life from a place of plenty, I no longer make choices from a place of fear. I exchange my mindset of lack for God's mindset of abundance. Ask the Lord to highlight wrong mindsets or thought processes that are causing you to make poor choices and make your exchange. When lack was a platform I was standing on, if I got an invitation to a conference that cost money, my mind would take me to reasons why I shouldn't go. When I was asked to do a project, my mind would start from why I don't have time. When a dream would well up in my heart, lack would tell me why it wasn't possible. Any new idea would be immediately attacked by a thought based in lack. This is not a productive platform to stand on or to create from. With abundance as my new platform, every new idea is confronted with possibilities. Starting from the right state of mind brings the right emotions to create the right energy to make the right choices. Positive thoughts produce positive emotions, which produce positive thoughts that produce positive emotions. You get the point. Positive thoughts create emotions that release endorphins that produce more of the same. From a positive state of mind, I can assess the choices before me to see which ones align with my higher goals and vision for my life and what I see myself creating. I like to use the word platform because it creates a great visual in my mind. Visualization is very helpful when on a journey to a specific place. So when I think of a platform I am standing on, it helps me identify whether that platform is giving me the voice I want to have. Is it putting me in the room I want to be in? Is it putting me in the position I want to be in? This helps me determine if I am standing where I want or need to be, and if not, I know that I need to change the platform I am standing on. I want the truths, beliefs, mindsets I am standing on to propel me into my future whole self. The scriptures warn us against building on the wrong foundation. You can read Luke 6:46 through 49. When I am functioning from a platform of abundance, if I'm invited to a conference, my first thought is, that would be awesome. Let me pray about it. I want to ask the Lord if this is something that He has for me to go to. Remember, the Word of God says, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths. Proverbs 3:6. If it is His will for me to go, then I know He will make a way, so I do not allow a negative, contrary thought of lack to take root in my mind. I start the planning and I partner with Him to see everything needed come into alignment with His will. If I don't get a strong yes or no, I start dreaming with God about it. I picture myself there. I think about if and how it will help me in the specific journey I am on. Will it be a fit for my current goals? I call this trying it on. I try the event on and see if it is a good fit for me. If it is, I go for it. And if not, I decline the invitation with gratitude and confidence that I am making the right choice based on faith, not lack. From a platform of abundance, when asked to do a project, my first response is excitement. Then I go to Jesus and ask Him if this is an opportunity I should take. Is this an opportunity from Him? If I feel His peace or feel a yes in my spirit, I go for it. If I don't feel a confidence in the yes, I keep praying until I do. I try it on. I ask questions. I get more details. I educate myself on the project as I look for the yes or no. God is always talking, but He doesn't always speak English. Take time to discover how He is speaking to you. Take a journey with Him. Keep asking questions and keep looking for how He is answering you. But don't get caught up in a project that will distract you from your journey or get you off the course of your current goals unless you get a yes from the Lord. I have found that at times when I didn't get a yes, but neither did I get a no, it was just an issue of timing. Be willing to wait for the yes. It is easy to wait on the Lord when we are in faith, but difficult when we feel lack. From a platform of abundance, when I get an idea, my mind starts looking for ways to make it happen. This is how we want to train our minds to function. We want our minds working for our goals and dreams, not against them. We want our minds to see the possibilities, not the hindrances. We can learn to see hindrances as opportunities for miracles, to learn something new, or as a sign from God to just look closer. What we don't want to do is see hindrances as stop signs that keep us from where we want to go. That is what a lack mindset does. A mindset grounded in abundance sees the hindrance may just mean a detour to a better route. As we learn to keep our thoughts in the right place, we will be able to discern the reason for the hindrances. This is a platform that puts us where we want to be. Push through the fear and get back to your story. When you can recognize that negative thoughts never produce anything positive, you will have the courage to stop the cycle. Negative thoughts do not produce the energy needed to find the solution. Solutions come from life-giving thoughts. Solutions come from looking for the good, not from looking at the bad. Stop hashing out what is wrong and fix your mind on the possibilities ahead of you. Whatever is, quote, wrong, your mind has the power to change, adapt to, or overcome. We must produce the thoughts that create the new we are looking for. This is not to say we ignore the negative, but rather we don't leave our focus there. We see the problem, then quickly begin looking for the solutions. We learn to view the negative from a positive platform that enables us to create a positive despite the negative. So, what does it take to create, and how do we know what to create? It takes 4 C's. To create, we will need to contemplate, be consistent in action, and have courage and community. These 4 C's will empower us to create. 1, contemplate. Contemplate what you really want and why you want it. Contemplate what you are good at and what you love. Contemplate how these things will improve not only your life, but the lives of others. Contemplate how all this works together to create something great, and then start creating. Knowing the answers to these questions will create the passion necessary to stay consistent in action. 2, consistent in action. It will take being consistent in action to create anything new. Nothing happens without action, and it is our consistent action that determines what we create. You will have to be consistent at fighting for what you want, consistent in gaining knowledge to produce what you want, consistent in following through, overcoming obstacles, and staying positive, which brings us to our next C, courage. Creating a new life, a new thought pattern, a new way of living or being takes courage. It takes courage to get up each morning and set your own course. It takes courage to tell your own story. It takes courage to not back down, give up, or succumb to the status quo of just surviving. And it is very hard to stay courageous without the next C, community. Building community requires the other 3 C's. Contemplate who you want in your close circle of friends, who you can trust to love you enough to speak the hard truths, love you enough to cover your back, love you enough to encourage rather than judge, love you enough to accept your apology when you fail. Contemplate the people you need in your life who will challenge you to be better, teach you, lead you, inspire, and motivate you. You need 2 kinds of people in your community, friends and mentors. Contemplate whose life you need to be in to do the same for them. As you build your community, you will have to be consistent in action to support, love, and stay connected. Relationships don't just happen. They take time, sacrifice, consistency, consistently showing up, making the phone call, being available. This consistent action of not just talking, but listening, not just receiving, but giving. This kind of community building takes courage. It takes courage to trust. It takes courage to set your own plans aside, ideas or thoughts to the side, to consider someone else above yourself. It takes courage to be vulnerable, opening your heart up to another. It takes courage to forgive when they inevitably let you down. But you will need them in your creative process, and they are the very people who will help you to create and keep creating if you make the right community choices. It also takes contemplation and courage to take responsibility for your own life to make the necessary changes to build your best life. Simply said, you were designed to create, to build, to bring an energy that empowers others to do the same. So create. Create the platform that allows the necessary changes, development, and awareness so that your foundation is strong enough to live in courageous action with the community who creates with you. Thanks for joining me today.